Hi, my name's Dave and you're listening to episode 65 of On the Bench, the podcast for scale modelers by scale modelers, all about scale models. This show is being brought to you through the generous support of Mike Basket, who has become one of our latest Patreon supporters. If you'd like to be just like Mike and support the show, you can do so by going to www.patreon.com and pledging any amount from $1 upwards. Your contributions help to fund the show and are greatly appreciated by the team. The Scale Modelers Supply Lacquer Paints are a new and exciting range of paints specifically designed for the scale modeler. SMS paints have been formulated for airbrush use on a variety of scale model mediums, such as plastics, resins, and even metal. Being designed for airbrush use, all the guesswork with thinning ratios has been completely eliminated. All you need to do is give the sturdy glass bottle a good shake and then simply pour and spray. And of course, being an acrylic lacquer, they are tough. Much tougher than water-based paints and are very fast drying, giving you more time at the bench. SMS paints have a massive range of colours to choose from that will suit any scale model, including Gunpla, car, science fiction, aircraft, military, and even trains. And did we mention they also do a variety of weathering products, brushes, tools, and accessories? Go and check out the full range and find your local stockist by typing in scalemodeler.com.au or simply punch in SMS paints to your search engine. And hey, great news if you're in the US and Canada, SMS paints are now available through usagundamstore.com. So give SMS paints a try. I know you'll be happy with the result. And hello and welcome to the show, and g'day to Ian.
G'day Dave, g'day listeners.
G'day Julian.
Good evening.
How have we been, gentlemen?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
Not too bad at all, mate.
Yep.
Good. Yeah.
No, I've been rather busy buying things since I last caught up with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I dragged you off to a model shop
Yes, we went
last
to see,
weekend.
went to Gundam Plus.
Yes,
met up
we
with
did.
Daryl.
And I ended up buying an Australian Leopard 1 A3A4 from Meng, which apparently makes a very good Australian version of the Leopard. So looking forward to getting into that eventually.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is I have to buy some barrels for it because only plastic barrels. And the plastic ones, yeah.
I don't think you can get a a good metal barrel for it because this has got like the jackets that go on the barrel.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look. I'll see what Mouse House have got because they do all the Australian stuff.
It might be resin.
Oh yeah, okay, that's a possibility.
Yeah. But in any case, it's a main kit. I'm sure the plastic one would be okay. Might have to do a bit of puttying and just be gentle. Just be gentle in your sanding because in case you'll flatten it off.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true. That's what I'm always cautious of. Also bought myself a Bandai Super Star Destroyer and Star Destroyer 2-in-1. And the Super Star Destroyer is a let me get this right, 100,000 scale.
Teeny tiny.
The Star Destroyer, no, I think I got them around the wrong way, is 1 to 14,500 scale. I think I got that around the wrong way, but
Teeny
anyway.
tiny.
Yeah. And last but not least, finally came in my Orcs Was Bomb Blaster Jet.
Bizarre.
Well, you know what? I've ordered a whole heap of stuff in from Ushi, so I've got some decals with got like spray stuff. On
Graffiti.
Graffiti
The
and
graffiti
stuff.
decals,
Yeah,
yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
going to do some graffiti decals on it. I'm just going to have a real ball with it and just go to town.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
Because I don't have to worry about it. but it, being like true to the actual thing. But what I love about this kit is you can make about 4 different types of orc sort of bomber things out of it. So it's really cool.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, some of them. I mean, it looks a bit like overall shape. It looks a bit like a MiG-15. You know, it's got the intake in the nose, and it's got like the swept back wings.
Yep.
But it's got an A10 tail.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all over the place in a lot of different ways. But
And I also got some of his wood decals as well. So I'm going to do as if they've sort of, just done like a flat made of wood or something like that, just for a bit of fun.
Oh, it sounds good.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it actually.
It really has that almost rat rod look.
Yeah, I know. Sort of like Wacky Racer style.
Yeah.
Or Catch the Pigeon. Do you remember that cartoon?
Catch the Pigeon. Yes, we all remember Catch the Pigeon. But Dick Dastardly and Muttley.
Yeah, sort of like a modern version of that.
It's all junkyard looking.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Definitely.
So you'll have to practice all your rust techniques and stuff.
Yeah. I've got them pretty well down.
And your metals, all your metalizers and things. Go to town with all that.
Yeah, I've got some of those metal polishers from Ushi as well, so I'm looking forward to using them.
And the thing with Orky stuff, if they paint it red, it goes faster. It is. That's in their canon.
Yeah, well, I think I might do it the yellow, or I don't know what colour I'm going to do it yet, or a black. I don't know. I haven't decided, so I'm just going to have fun and just do whatever I feel like doing, really.
Yep.
So it should be cool.
Yeah, sounds good.
Ian, what you end up getting?
At Gundam Plus, I got a Nakajima B something Nate, the second version of the Nate, Pearl Harbor.
And like you need another Japanese fighter or bomber.
Well, I've got hardly any Japanese stuff. That's why I'm collecting them at the moment. The other one I bought was a Hasegawa Grace.
Yep.
I think it's a HE something B7 or something. I can't remember. Got one of those, and the I think it might be Mung as well. The British Rolls-Royce armoured car.
Oh yeah, that looks really
with
good.
the 1920s fit with the big wide tyres.
That looked really.
That
good.
looks really cool. That's a really nice kit.
Yeah.
And then
isn't that the World War II?
Yes, the World War II. You can actually do 2 World War I's and 2 World War II's.
All right, so it gives you like multiple wheel options.
Correct. Yep. You can go the old wire wheels, the skinny and the dual wheels, or you can go the big chunky wheels.
What are you going to do?
Oh, the World War II ones.
Chunky wheels.
The chunky wheels.
Yeah.
That was heaps better.
Yeah.
Heaps better.
The multicolour desert scheme.
Yep.
That's a cool scheme.
Yeah. It's got turquoise. One of the colours is turquoise.
I think,
wow.
So I think there's been some revision on what those colours are, and they're actually not so bluey as people like to do them.
Right.
No, just do it.
But I can't
add a bit of white.
Because this says it's sand colour,
Yeah.
grey,
Yeah, a grey.
and turquoise.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And it's like those 3 colours, and it's just in the splintery style camouflage. Just looks really cool. The other version, the other World War II version they give you is just a standard sand colour one with the big British brown dells on the roof and so forth. Looks pretty good. And the other kit I picked up this week was the new Edward P51D5.
Chattanooga.
The Chattanooga Choo Choo.
The limited edition boxing.
Yes. Now, the good thing about that kit is it allows you, if you use all the plastic parts, because it's got plastic parts, will allow you to build every version of the Ds that have filleted tails, and you can even build a K model out of that kit as well.
Very nice.
So you can do the D5, the D10s, the D20s. I think there's a D30 as well. You can do the Inglewood and the Dulles builds. You get 3 different canopies, 3 different chin vents, little vents on the side of the nose, 3 different ones of those. Multiple cockpit details, and
they really thought it out.
It's got everything. It is really good.
Have you decided what one you're going to do?
None of them in the box.
Oh, okay. So bare metal finish?
Yeah.
Very
Most
nice.
definitely. Most definitely. So I'll either do an Australian one, convert it to us, because you can get some aftermarket wheels and that to make it the correct Australian variant. Or I checked out, saw a really nice, I think it was a D20 from the Pacific Campaign.
Oh yeah,
which is all over bare metal except the tail's black.
All right.
with a black tail. I just thought it looked really cool.
And they got the wings down perfectly, haven't they?
Yep.
With the,
Yep.
Yeah. No
And the
rivets on it.
instructions are quite good because they tell you exactly which parts were painted silver and what parts were left bare metal.
Yeah. Oh, and it came with the photo etch coloured instrument panel as well.
Yep. But that's only if you're going to build a D5.
Right.
If you want to build a later one, you got to use the some of the plastic components.
Oh, okay.
Do they give you a decal, do you know, if for the instrument panel?
I can't
Because
remember
that's
if
how
they
I prefer to do my instrument panels.
use a
Really?
decal.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the Edward photo etch coloured instrument panels. I reckon they're awesome.
Especially the newer ones. The new ones actually have on top of each gauge, it has actually got like a daub of clear paint.
Yes.
Oh, is it is it Edward Zoom or whatever?
Yeah,
it is?
it could be. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got like a new line of. They're very similar to the Yahoo placement instrument panels.
It just makes it so much easier and quicker building. You don't
Oh,
have to,
yeah,
you don't have to
definitely.
stuff around doing that.
Yep. Totally agree.
I like to get the cockpit out of the way as quick as possible.
Well, that's why these photo etch stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Photo etch is your friend.
It is.
I forgot to mention before we go to you, Julian.
All right.
I'm also currently building the Tacom Polish concept tank, and I'm building that for competition next year.
That thing that looks like a stealth tank.
Yeah, it looks
the
really
science
cool.
fiction tank.
A couple of build issues I've already hit with the gun, with the mantlet fitting into the turret, so I've had to do a bit of cutting to get that sorted. And online, somebody pointed out it comes with a jig for the tracks and the wheels, and he says if you use the jig, it makes it too tight for the tracks because it's link and length.
All right.
So he says you may be better off just
do it the old-fashioned way.
doing the old-fashioned way. So, but yeah, I'm going to do it in a digital camo. So I've got a couple of orders out there for some masking, and yeah, it's just really fun because I enjoyed building the other two tanks, and I'm in the tanks at the moment.
Oh, good on
I'm
you.
on a roll.
Yeah,
So
if you're happy building them, build them.
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, Julian, back to you.
No worries. Well, see, I forgot to bring the stuff that I bought in today. So I bought the 5 of the border model chisels, right? So Border Model is a company. They, I believe they're Chinese.
Is that the one where the handles are wrapped in leather or something, or is that?
Wrapped in leather.
No, okay, different.
No.
Gee, that sounds flash.
No, it was from. It was on Amazon. I think I saw them.
Well, anyway, Border Model. You know how you bought those tweezers, those really nice tweezers, the other couple of podcasts
from
ago.
Display.
Was it Display or was it from Ushi or?
Oh yeah,
or something
Ushi. I got the scissors and the fine tweezers.
Yeah. So those are, I think, originally manufactured by Border Model, and I bought the tweezers.
Do tell.
Right, and Border Model also did these series of chisels.
Yep.
There's 2 ways they come. They come like each one on a long shaft, individual like tool kind of thing, or it's the one that I purchased them, and they're just like a short piece of metal that goes. Like the idea is that you buy them like more than one, and then you have like this big fat handle that you just plug them into. But the big handle is too much. I didn't like it. It's too big and fat. You don't need to buy it to know what it's like. It's basically the width of your thumb. It's like a big fat marker.
Yeah.
That's not really what I like to hold for tools and stuff. So I just kept them on the little tiny short shafts that they're on, and it's really good for like they go all the way down to 0.15 mil. I think it is.
Yep.
And so it's good. Like the smallest one, like the one I just mentioned, that can be pretty good for scribing. Which is weird using a chisel to scribe.
I'm going to say chisels are an underrated tool in the modeler's toolbox.
I bought the largest one as well, which is the 3mm one, and I've been using that all over the place. Things that I would have normally have sanded off.
Seam lines.
In getting in like little like little corners and things like that. Yeah. As well as what are they called? Like the ejector pin marks.
Ejector pin marks.
Yeah.
They're really good for that, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yep. I love it. I reckon they're a great tool.
Yeah. So I mean, they're fairly inexpensive. $11.50 Australian.
Gee, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
Tungsten.
Yep.
Oh, I can't see a downside.
No, true. Too true.
Yeah. They also, as a company, I believe they also have like a couple of German armor kits. I don't know how good they are. I don't think they've sort of proliferated around, and people have taken a risk buying them yet.
Okay.
They got like a Panzer 4 or something like that, and a few other bits and things. I think there's. Right. Oh, they got a Leopard 2. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What's 1/35 scale?
Yeah, 35th scale.
Okay.
I don't know how good they are though. So I mean,
well, can you buy one and tell us?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I've got at the moment I'm working on the Phantom, the F4 Phantom from Zuke Mirror.
Oh yeah.
I had a bit of trouble with around the intakes where they glue onto the fuselage. I had a bit of a gap that I had to fill with some plastic card.
I would have thought that the Zuka Miura stuff would have been engineered to the nth degree.
I think it's a case of where they've engineered it somewhat well, but they probably haven't taken as much time as, say, Meng would have to, they've done it in CAD, they've made their masters and stuff, and then they've given it to a modeler to build and make sure it all runs perfect, So there's little things that are a little bit off. Like, for example, it's got a little bit that runs along the top, the spine.
Yeah.
Right? So that you don't have to, meet two fuselage halves and then try to scribe a bunch of circles into the top half of the model. They're giving you a little spine piece. But the problem is that it only really sits at either end. And it's quite a long piece of plastic.
Bit of a bow in it.
Yeah, so what happens is, it's before you've glued it in permanently, you have to sort of be a bit wary of making sure it sits nice and level.
Right.
Mine doesn't sit quite so level, but it's enough to no one will really look at it too much. I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried. I could have maybe shimmed up the either end, like one of the ends, which I think sits a little tiny bit low.
Yeah.
Like maybe a couple of paper widths or something like that. It's not much, but for that extra little bit of perfection, I would have liked to have. I wish I wasn't so hasty at throwing it in there, because I was just gliding along. Right, I'm just gluing piece to piece to piece, and everything's going together smoothly. And then you get to something like that, and you're like, oh, I really shouldn't have. I should have test fitted that.
Now you're doing it in the Vietnam colours,
yes,
or Southeast Asia camouflage scheme from Vietnam War.
Yep.
I'll be interesting to see what paints you use and how you get that sort of faded effect, because I reckon that'll sort of make or break it.
Oh, I'm saying I'm going to break my kit.
No, I mean, you see the sort of Vietnam era US Air Force, and they've got that sort of, worn look to it.
I've got photos of the aircraft in question I'm doing. It doesn't look, this one doesn't look that faded at all.
Oh, okay.
It's actually probably going to look a little more mundane than I'll do it in.
Because their Thunder Chiefs and that look really, really sort of worn.
Yeah, well,
almost like Greek Air Force type style, Yeah.
This one doesn't seem to be, at least not from the one angle they've got a photo of it from. It's colour photo too.
Yeah.
Which is nice. It's nice working with colour photos for a change.
rather than colourised.
Yeah.
All black and white. Trying to guess what the camouflage scheme is.
True. While Julian's been chatting, I've been having another look at my Chattanooga Choo Choo box, and it's got a blue box on the side that says officially. I'll put my glasses on. So
Boeing.
Boeing. So it's it says officially licensed product by Boeing.
Yeah, you see that on a lot of kits these days, especially all the American subjects. All the stuff from Italieri has a little blue sticker that they've put on it.
Now, that ticks me off. That ticks me off big time.
Why is that, Dave?
Because it's the taxpayers who have purchased these aircraft in real life in the design, and given that I'm a taxpayer, why should I then, when I buy my model kits, have to pay a licensing fee? You see what I'm saying?
Well, this is not like the old Revell days, from 1950 or whatever, where they would properly put the Revell written on it on the wing.
Oh, Monogram used to do the same in the 70s.
Yeah, Revell Monogram, yeah. That's annoying. I mean, you just got to carve that off, sand that away.
Yeah. I forgot to say, I got stung a couple of weeks ago too.
Yeah, what with?
Well, you know how I'm building a 1/144th scale, a water bomber, the Bombardier.
Yeah, the Canadair one.
Yeah, that's it. And that kit is just kicking me so hard. So I thought, And I was walking through a shop, and I found from Italeri one in 1/48th scale. Oh, 1/72nd scale. I can't remember what scale now. 1/72nd scale. Oh, maybe it's 1/48th scale. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not part of the story. So I thought, oh, beauty, I'll buy that. That's going to be a lot easier than working on this other thing.
Nah.
So I get it home, and I'm sort of putting it together and going, geez, it's a bit of a dog, this thing. And then I have a look, and on the sprue, it says, Hella, what's that French company name? Hella. So Italy, dirty, cheating people that they are, have just gone and got these old moulds, reboxed it, and packaged it out.
Yeah.
See, stupid me. I should have checked and had a look on Scale Mates or gone in and had a look in the box before I bought it. But no.
Well, as long as you didn't pay an arm and a leg for it.
I think it's about $35, $40.
Oh, it's not too bad.
Yeah. But still. So that's another one that's sitting there to be built because I've walked away in disgust.
See, if I haven't seen a kit come out in recent-ish times, and I hear that there's a kit of it, I'm like, really? That's a bit weird how that one would have slipped past me. Normally I'd know about something like that. And then I get suspicious. I'm like, really? Where does it really come from? And then you find out it comes from like Eshy or something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
Oh, Eshy. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I used to hate Eshy decals.
And I had an impulse buy purchase today. So it popped up in my feed, this little thing that you plug into your iPhone or your computer, and it's like a microscope. And it comes with a little stand, its own little light. And I thought, oh, that'd be a good idea for doing my really, really super fine
detail work. So that's on its way. It's $40 US.
Well, as a shipbuilder, I'm sure you'll find a use for it somewhere.
Oh, definitely.
I reckon you could find some uses for it, just not in shipbuilding and a whole range of things. Like, I reckon some of those figure painters, they could get, right in there and they could use Ian's one bristle brush to
the 1/100 paintbrush. Which I've used twice. I'm too scared to use it in case I break it.
Yeah, if he sneezes.
How much is it?
If he sneezes,
it was about $30. It wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
It wasn't cheap.
Oh, jeez.
But no, I ended up spending the weekend with my Dremel tool. All weekend. So I put my Godzilla together.
Yep.
The old Toho style Godzilla, which is about 15 inches tall. It's a massive kit.
It's a big kit.
It is a big. You've seen it.
I have, yeah.
So I putted it all up, and of course, trying to putty up a giant lizard is a bit difficult. So I just grabbed the Dremel and just carved everything away, and it looks really good now. And because being injection molded too, all the details really nice at the top, but once you get to the sides, it's nearly flat.
Yeah.
So I'm busy grinding more detail and scales and wrinkles and stuff in there. So I'm really looking forward to hitting it with some black undercoat and then starting the painting on it.
And what sort of Dremel tool have you got? You got that sort of long one?
Yeah, I bought. I originally went to buy a Dremel, and I was rapping to the guy there at the shop, and he goes, you can buy one of these Azito ones. It does exactly the same. The Dremel bits fit. Comes with one of those long extensions with the pencil style engraver.
Oh, lovely.
It was about saving us $70 with a 3-year warranty.
Wow.
Why not?
My Dremel's one of those pistol grip ones.
Yeah, I couldn't handle the pistol grip.
And, well, it's not bad actually. It works quite well if you're doing real fine drilling because you have really fine sort of drill bits.
Yep.
You sneeze and the darn things break. It just gives you that extra ability just to hold it steady as you're going in.
You go to your local Bunnings and you buy one of the Dremel drill stands for about $30-$40.
What?
So it's like a pedestal.
Drill. You put your Dremel in there,
but smaller.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, like a drill press.
Yeah.
Why didn't you guys tell me this earlier?
Well, because you just bought it up. I was looking at him over the weekend when I bought me tool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the thing about with those sort of things is if you go to test it, right? You walk into a hardware shop and you go to test these things.
Yeah.
The test is not how stiff and rigid it is at the top. It's how stiff and rigid it is at the bottom. So you got to make sure when you bring it down that there's no play in it, because that's what you're paying for.
Well, I picked up a pair of vernier calipers, digital readout.
Yep.
$20.
Yeah, probably the same ones I bought for about the same price as that.
$20.
What are you going to use that for?
What?
Vernier calipers,
perfect for measuring.
Oh, I suppose ships.
No, all sorts of things. So
all sorts of goodies.
Because your vernier calipers, when you open it up, you can do the external measurement, and on the flip side of it,
You got the two prongs. You do the internal.
yeah, perfect.
Mm.
Being digital.
Now that you mention it, I could probably find a use for that.
And being digital, I don't have to worry about sort of reading the notch marks and the thing. It just tells me.
Gives you the exact amount. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yep.
Oh, and also I've got to thank Tony Jacob as well. You know how I broke my Display circle cutter?
Oh, yeah, you broke the knob bit off,
Yep. Well, I've got to say, Tony is some kind of genius because he went and found the replacement part online, which I've now ordered, and he sent me a copy of where to go to get it.
Oh, well done. Oh, that's great. Good on you, Tony.
Oh, so it's brilliant.
That's great, yeah.
Speaking of which, I've noticed that Meng are rebadging that.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah.
What, rebadging it as Meng?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like a lot of companies do that.
Meng?
Meng.
How's it spelt?
M-E-N-G, but it's pronounced
Meng.
Meng.
Yeah, he's doing the thing where he's accepted his fate that he'll never be able to pronounce everything properly. So he's just gonna do it all in his native accent.
Dave speak.
Well, I mean, you look at because you listen to. Oh, it's funny because you listen to the guys on the other podcast, Scale Model Podcast, and they pronounce Italeri different. Mm-hmm. They call it Italeri or Italeri.
Italeri, yeah.
Italeri.
Yeah.
Italeri. See, so it's because it's a cultural thing, really.
It must be a cultural thing.
But Meng is spelled M-E-G. M-E-N-G.
Don't forget the end, Dave.
So it's Meng. And if it was going to be Mung, it would be M-U-N-G or M-O-N-G.
Well, see, here's the funny thing. I've been pronouncing it Meng all this time. And then I was told that it's pronounced Mung.
Told by who?
By people who know how it's supposed to be pronounced.
But how do you know these people know how it's supposed to be pronounced?
Well, in any case,
they're probably
right?
Chinese.
Well, they're not. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're right.
Yep.
And it took me a while to realize because I have a friend and his name is Fung.
Fung.
And it's spelled F-E-N-G.
Yeah, Fung.
I should know better, but I don't.
See? There you go.
All right. So it's Mung.
Mung. Yes.
All right. Okay. I'll now call it Mung from henceforth.
Well, since we're going to roll into what's new.
Yep.
I may as well mention that. Yeah, this was seen at one of the recent shows. I forget
from
which.
Mung.
Yeah, and had
1/16 scale.
No. The what you call it? The circle cutter that's been rebranded, as well as the super glue thing.
And their Mung's bringing out a I think it's 1/16 scale GT40.
1/12.
1/12 scale GT40.
Yes.
Oh, if you're interested in that kind of thing, yeah. Go for it.
Who wouldn't be interested in a GT40?
Me?
You know why they call it a GT40?
Why?
Because it's 40 inches from the ground to the top of the roof.
Well, there's a bit of trivia for you.
Same as you know why Shelby GT350s were called GT350?
No.
The production line was 350 metres long.
Do you know why they're called Shelbys?
Because the guy was called Carroll Shelby.
That was a trick question. Yeah, I'm just seeing if I can catch him out.
So tricky. The trickiest of questions. Well, I could hear you inhale to you were going to launch right into it. So let me just finish off. And also the one other thing that they're bringing out is the Sherman Jumbo.
Oh, yes. Yes, they are. The Sherman Jumbo. So it's funny, our secret correspondent sent some stuff in, so I'll just cross that off that list.
Yeah.
So we're going to go into what's new?
Yeah, let's just roll.
So how's Revell? Revell's release coming out soon. 132 scale.
Oh, what is it?
Spitfire Mark II. Iron Maiden Aces High.
Is it? Really?
Complete with Eddie Pilot, given the V for Victory sign.
Okay.
Comes with the decals to do the Spitfire from the album cover.
I was not expecting that from them. I mean, Airfix I get because
the British connection. But yeah, maybe someone overheard me because I've been prattling on how I got that Eddie set, and I was going to get myself a 32 scale Spitfire and do the Aces High. And
folks, as we record, Ian's sitting here with his Iron Maiden t-shirt on.
Yeah, of course.
That's a different band.
Not Iron Maiden.
Wait, is it? Iron Maiden. I'm thinking of Motorhead. No, I've got my wires crossed. No. Okay, I'm at fault.
Motorhead's got the Heinkel 111 from Airfix.
Well, what else are we going to see? How many other band tie-ins can there be? There can't be many.
Tell you what, I remember, Dave probably remember Budgie. The band Budgie from the 70s.
Oh, no.
They were like a Led Zeppelin
were they?
sort of vibe to them, but they had a really cool album cover, which was like a bird's skull morphed onto an SR-71 Blackbird. So you got the body of an SR-71 Blackbird with a bird skull as a nose.
Oh.
And I reckon that'll look really cool too. So model companies, there's your next one.
Well, let me think now. You could have...
Something tells me that's not too marketable. There's not a lot of profit in that
You
one.
have Jethro Tull Stormwatch with a... and it comes out with a model of a oil rig.
Yep. Who was the band? There was a British band that had on their cover had a Messerschmitt 262. I'm trying to remember the name of the band.
You might have to Google it while we're going through.
Yep.
Nah, don't bother. Just let our listeners.
Yeah, the listeners will tell us.
No, they will
someone out there will
participate.
know.
Yeah.
Someone out there will know.
Let's roll into what's new.
Yeah, let's
shall
roll
we?
into what's new.
And-
Enough procrastinating.
From Trumpeter, we have their announcement for this month, October. And they are producing a Russian Brem-1 armoured recovery vehicle in 1/35th scale. This is a Russian version of the Berger Panzer and all the other, and the Hercules, which is the American sort of version of this. So it was designed to develop the Soviet T-72 main battle tank, and I suspect it's probably based on the chassis as well.
Looking at the chassis, I'd say it looks very much like a...
And that's what they did with these sorts
Yeah.
of things, the recovery vehicles. So it looks pretty cool. If you like building your Russian armour, this will be something you definitely need in your stash.
Oh, yeah.
The tracks are
Individual, photo etch, clear pieces. Yeah, it's got a little...
Once upon a time, I almost considered buying a resin kit to make one of these out of a Tamiya kit.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. Geez, you must have been committed.
Glad you didn't, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. All right, next up, there's a Russian 5V28, which is of a 5P72 launcher. Basically, it's a SAM-5 Gammon, which is sitting on a launcher. These are becoming quite popular by the kit manufacturers producing SAM missiles and rockets and stuff like this. So this hasn't got the vehicle with it. It's just simply the SAM missile and the launcher itself.
Yep.
But, geez, that'd be cool. I wonder when the SAM-5 was around, what year or decade it was. Just 70s, introduced in 1970. There you go.
Oh, yep.
Ceiling of 95,000 feet. Whoa, that can go high.
It's a decent rocket.
Oh, there you go. Now, this is what I'm excited about.
Oh, yeah, me too.
In 1/35th scale, they've
350, Dave.
What did I say?
1/35th. Be a bloody big kit if it was 1/35th scale.
Did I say 1/35th?
Yeah.
1/350th scale. Let's start again. HMS Kent,
Which is a county class.
built by the Royal Navy. Now, the intriguing thing for us Aussies over here is that it was also used for HMS Australia and HMAS
Canberra.
Sydney or Canberra?
Sydney or Canberra, one of the two.
One of the two. So we'll have to do a bit of sort of conversion work to get it there, but...
You've got the bones to do it.
And I've jumped onto a couple of the forums to have a look at what some of the guys are saying about it, and they're saying that the hull, it looks like Trump got the hull sort of dead on, so they can't see any issues with the hull. And any sort of work that I'd have to sort of fiddle around with is just basically around where the aircraft hangar is, get rid of that.
Yeah.
And add a couple of different guns and bingo. So,
But it looks like a nice kit. Comes with photo etch, chain.
Yeah, you know, Trump and photo etch, the best thing to do with that is put it straight in the bin because it's pretty useless, I found.
Not a fan, Dave.
No, you're blowing it and it warps.
I had one kit that I couldn't use their photo etch because the railings were that thin. You couldn't remove them from the fret because they just bend.
Yeah.
As soon as you tried to remove them from the fret, they just bend and buckle.
You know what? If they're going to all this trouble to do photo etch, and it's not a simple thing to just go and do it, why not go and do it for the full kit rather than just a sort of, half-cocked 3 frets that, don't even really
cover much of it.
At all.
Well, often an argument against most of their armour kits is that they have too much photo etch.
No.
Yeah, but the kit manufacturers, they could offer it, as a super media kit with all that stuff in it, or just as a bare basic one.
Well, Fujimi do that with some of their ship kits.
That's right, they do too. Yes,
because some of the ship kits I've seen online, they're $600 plus, but you don't need to buy anything because it comes with all the photo etch and everything.
So anyway, I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, and a bit over half a metre long. It should be a decent sized kit.
Very nice size kit. I think next up we have another Russian truck, which is a tank transporter.
A pretty cool looking vehicle too, isn't it?
An AZ-53-7G late production type with the semi-trailer for tank transporting.
I just love the huge wheels.
Again, I've said it time and time again, but there's something about the Russian trucks, and they just look very apocalyptic, don't they?
Yep. Yeah, I saw something today online about some Russians that pulled an old Gaz truck, World War II truck, out of a swamp.
And
they restored it.
That.
They restored it.
Yes. There was an old mortar on the back or something.
Yeah, because it was an old mortar on the back. Because that Gaz truck was just a Ford Model A, built under Russian license.
Yep.
So it was really cool seeing one of those old things getting restored.
Yeah. Back to this truck. This truck comes with rubber tyres or vinyl tyres, which is
that'll be all right.
Yeah, but quite a detailed chassis and everything with it as well. So
lots of sprues.
A few guys, 17 sprues.
That's a lot of sprues.
It's huge.
That's a heck of a lot, Dave.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. In other news, and I'll just quickly grab my.
He's going to grab his phone and have a look.
An announcement from Models Fit. Now, Models Fit, as we are aware,
they're Russian, aren't they, or Ukrainian or something? Ukrainian, I think.
Ukrainian from the top of my.
Yeah.
They're doing the release of their Antonov 225 in 1/72 scale, and they've said it's been postponed. The release of that has been postponed at least until 2020 first quarter. The kit's already in production. However, the manufacturing process of fiberglass parts, the wing fuselage, is taking a lot more time and effort.
Hang on. What did you say? Antonov 225?
Yeah.
In 72nd scale?
In 72nd scale.
It'd be freaking huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
No wonder they're using fiberglass.
Well, obviously they're having some production issues, and they're pushing back the release date until first quarter 2020. And just for those of you who perhaps can't picture it, it's a Russian style.
It's a heavy lift transport.
Yeah, the fuselage kind of looks like a Galaxy, but it's got 6 engines.
Yeah, it's the big Russian one,
and it's twin tail boom.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's the one that was in that Roland Emmerich movie, The End of the World. That was it, 2012. They used one of them in that.
Oh, they did too, where the world floods. That's right, because they had all the cars in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Bentley.
Okay. Our secret correspondent writes in with the following.
Oh, okay. What's new?
Aircraft. IBG models are to do a 1/32 scale PZL P.11C, which is a Polish World War II fighter.
Yep.
I've been actually pretty keen to build some of the 72nd scale Polish aircraft. They've got some really interesting things in there.
Yeah, but they're so small though in 72nd scale.
Yeah, I know.
They're very small aircraft.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of doing it as a bit of a trophy chaser thing.
Okay. Mark II, which I've never heard of.
Mac II?
Mac II.
Oh, God. Mac II. I've heard nothing but disasters from Mac II.
Well, Mac II will be releasing a 1/72 scale Vickers VC10 at the Telford Model Show next year. And obviously the box is going to have RAF marking option in it. Micromere working on a 1/72 scale Sheba Vogel, the liquid propellant rocket-powered suborbital bomber, which is into the Luft 46.
I've never even heard of that.
And Dora Wings are apparently showing CAD renders for a 1/48 scale Republic P-43 Lancer.
Yeah, I heard something about that, yeah. Interesting.
Into the armour section, Riffield Models have a new 1/35 scale Storm Tiger with workable tracks coming soon. I think we talked about that, didn't we?
Maybe.
Yeah. Zvezda are showing CAD renders of their 1/35th scale Pantsir S1 self-propelled anti-aircraft system. And perhaps best of all, says our secret reporter, Hobby Easy have on pre-order a new 1/35th scale armour kit from Tamiya, which is a Renault R35 French light tank.
There you go.
There you go.
French.
There you go.
So there's a few, I think, of that kit, of the R35. There's the one from, I think it's Hobby Boss, that's supposed to be not very accurate. There's a guy on Shapeways who does a 3D printed one for $400. Yeah.
That's pricey.
That's very, considering the size of it.
Pricey.
It's not a very big vehicle.
No, it's a tiny tank.
Yeah.
It's a tiny tank.
Was it 2-man or 3-man?
It's like halfway between, like, say, a regular sized tank of the start of the war and a tankette.
Yep.
It's a tiny thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Well, that's all I got for what's new, unless you guys got anything.
I've already said mine what's new.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I already sort of, all the stuff from Meng. That was good to see. I'm always keen for more Shermans.
Of course you are. You going to buy the Jumbo?
The Jumbo?
Yeah.
Maybe. At some point. Maybe.
So what is the Jumbo?
They had the funny wheel arrangement, didn't it?
The Jumbo has the early style suspension.
Mm-hmm.
And it's heavily armoured. So it's got like big, thick armour on the sloping front.
Right.
And it's got a very distinctive turret because of the very thick, square mantlet that's on it that has like sort of tapered corners on the lower, on the bottom.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's like designed to be like a spearhead kind of thing or something. Don't quote me. I'm not so interested in Shermans that I know all the variants and what they were used for. Right.
Well, you know more than me.
Yeah.
He's salivating. Look at him.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, look, I would like, I'm still, by the way, I've been plugging along on my French Sherman.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's coming along,
Oh,
you know. And then once I've got one of those, that's an M4A1, like an early, standard first edition kind of Sherman. Right, and at some point I'd like to do like one of each of the sort of major variants. Hopefully by the time I get to the end of all that story, someone will bring out a plastic double duplex Sherman so that I don't have to spend like $250 to $300 on a resin kit.
Yeah.
Because those are cool, you know.
Yeah.
It looks like a it's kind of like, you know, how you see like a person wearing an inflatable ring around their waist.
Yeah.
It's like I imagine like the equivalent of that, but for a Sherman.
Yep.
It's got like a boat hull around the middle of it.
Yeah.
Didn't FX do one
it just needs a little plastic pail and a little shovel.
I'm sure FX did it in 1/76 scale, so there you go.
Well, they might.
No, I'd rather not do it in the 76 scale. I'm not going to bother with that.
No.
All right, let's have a quick break and we'll be back with some listener mail. Fine Scale Modeler is proud to support On the Bench. Fine Scale Modeler is the world's most recognised and essential magazine and is available in all good newsagents and newsstands or wherever you purchase your magazines. Alternatively, go to their website www.finescale.com and subscribe to either the print edition or the digital edition, or why not both? Go now. Go to www.finescale.com. Okay, and we're back with some listener mail, and let's have a look at the first one we got up. First of all, James Medley writes in, "Hey guys, great show. I was wondering if you could do a segment on painting metallics, especially on aircraft, as I'm having a horrible time with getting a consistent finish. Some of the topics could be undercoat to use and the best metal paints, etc. Keep up the good work. Cheers, James." And James is an member of an old army regiment of mine. So,
there you go.
In fact, he came up and said g'day at the last show that we were at. So, so what do you reckon on that segment, or do you want to talk about painting metallics now? We could touch on it now.
Well,
sure.
I don't think there's that much to it, really.
No.
I mean,
basically, I always find the best undercoat is especially metallics, is a gloss black.
Yeah. Yep. So I got a few thoughts. So gloss black. You don't necessarily have to use Alclad's gloss black, which is an enamel, not a lacquer, as they would have you believe. It's also apparently like half the bottles manufactured will never cure.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Alclade's had a bit of problem with their paints
In
curing
recent times?
Over the years,
Okay. Oh, I've never had any trouble with Alcalade.
Yeah. Well, if you've got a bottle that works,
Yeah.
and apparently I do too, but I'm still not going to use it because it's enamel, right? And I'm past that. I did see. So in relation to this, I can't remember where I dug it out on the internet somewhere, and it's the kind of thing you come across. You don't search it up, but there was a video of a guy from Alclad giving a demonstration video.
Right.
And in this video, he says, okay, well, gloss black, nice and glossy. Then you take that. This is why they sell micro mesh, bands of micro mesh. And the idea is that you're supposed to polish that up before you put your Alclad on.
The color, yep.
Yep. And then, when you spray it, very low pressure.
Low pressure, yep.
Of course, we've got SMS Paints, which is an Australian manufactured one and the show sponsor at the moment. So they've got a good range of metallics out at the moment, and I've used them, and they're just as good, if not better, than Alclad.
Yep.
I have to say.
So there's a lot of
and I'm not just saying that because they're the show sponsor. They're really, really good.
Yeah, I would use any lacquer based metallic.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that because I'm a lacquer based paint kind of guy, right? I'm just saying that because I just don't buy any of these acrylic or enamel based metallizers that are on the market. Because I don't a couple of years ago we went through this big thing where every company was out there releasing their line of metallics. I just don't buy any of it.
The secret to it too is just very, very fine coats and do multiple coats.
Yeah, don't
bob it on.
Don't flood it on because it'll just come out crap.
Yeah, you don't want to paint it on like a paint. It's almost like you're shooting.
You're dusting it
glitter,
on.
Right?
You're dusting it on.
Yeah,
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So low PSI, lots of sort of coats to build it up to the consistency you want, and then if you're after a high sheen, give it a good polish afterwards.
Well, if it's polishable.
If it's polishable, yeah.
If it's not polishable, don't touch it.
So of the lacquer metallizers out there that I would be happy to use, there's the SMS Paints metallizers. There's Mr. Paint. There's Alclad. Guns also have a lacquer-based one, but theirs is a buffable one. So if you're going to use it, but apparently someone's actually bothered to translate the Japanese on it. And you're supposed to seal it with a clear.
Once you polish it.
Yeah, because I having used their aluminium, which is always the one you want to use, right? Their aluminium will come off on your hands immediately. It's like it's more attracted to your fingers than it is to plastic.
Yes.
And of course, there's a range of metal buffers as well.
Yeah, it was S&J were the originals, I think, and they did that buffable powder.
Ushi do a range as well.
Yep.
So, and you just get a it's like a clother almost, and you just sort of buff it on.
Yeah, like a micro mesh cloth.
Yeah. And you just sort of.
But it all comes down with what paint you feel more comfortable with using.
Yeah, absolutely. And James, you certainly got to get yourself a modelling mule, and a modelling mule is just an old kit, and just practice on that first of all.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can tell then and even try without putting a gloss black
do
underneath.
what a lot of other people do, just go to the local supermarket and buy a heap of those plastic spoons.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on the plastic spoons.
So usually when it comes to metallizers, you've got your usual aluminium, iron, steel, that sort of thing.
Duralum.
Yeah. Well, where it gets interesting is when they start going into all the different types of aluminium. You've got duralum or duraluminium or something like that. Yeah. And you got a white aluminium and dark aluminium and all that sort of thing. If
polished, unpolished.
If you don't want to be bothered going in and buying all these different slightly different shades, if you want to be cheap, you can just go out and buy Tamiya Smoke.
Yeah, and just
shade them in
shade them in. Yeah.
You can also tint any of the lacquer-based ones.
Yep.
With the clears, so clear red. that you would normally use for like your lights,
navigation lights,
navigation lights on your plane. You can use that to tint.
Right.
So you know the Gundam type people will sometimes go for that. They'll tint their aluminium. I'm not sure if they actually tint it in the actual paint cup or anything, but I mean sometimes they will just actually alclad the whole surface, and then they'll come back in afterwards with their red clear or yellow clear or whatever it is, and then spray that on.
All right. Yep. I see what you mean. Yep.
It's
Get a
interesting.
nice candy apple finish.
Yeah. And don't be afraid to use, like, I reckon, multiple products, because you know people will, go for lots of different metal effects, and there's no reason why you can't use your metal, like your aluminium colored pencil from AK alongside your, acrylics, because there's like Citadel have some really good acrylic metal colors as well.
Yes, with weird names.
They're the only ones I would recommend, by the way.
For acrylic.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would only recommend those.
You can't spray them well.
No,
don't spray them.
They're just for good for hand painting.
They're the metallizer you go to when you're going to brush paint something.
Yep.
Like when you do a belt buckle or something like that, Ideal for that sort of thing.
Definitely.
Cool.
Cockpits too. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, James, I hope that's answered your question. Next up, Adam Greenwald writes in. I just want to say I've been listening to some old shows again, and I wanted to say that without losing your natural flow and style, you guys have improved. The last few shows have been really enjoyable. I've listened to shows 6 and 7 about modelling, and I've got to agree with it there. It's funny, I've gone back and listened to the first 10 shows, and geez...
Bit rough, weren't they?
Oh, geez, yeah. We certainly improved their game.
It always worries me when people say, "Oh yeah, I've just started listening to you, and I'm up to episode 7." Like, no, don't do that. Listen to the more recent ones; they're the good ones.
Yeah,
you don't want to be turned away
10.
by the horrible early ones,
Oh, we were just finding our feet, and I think we've done a good job. Adam goes on to say, "I've listened to your show 6 and 7 about modelling for shows, and at the beginning you talk about upping your game, but." As you focus in on the various points which you describe and discuss as things judges are looking for, such as seam lines, non-silver decals, no dust or fingerprints, etc., it strikes me that these are all aims of modelers in the creation of our pieces anyway, aren't they? Or is it just me? Though I don't have to show references for the display cabinet, does this make sense? Or do you folks just sling kits together any old way? Comes back to what you're building for, really.
Well,
so if you're building for yourself, and you're not worried about sort of putting it in shows or anything, as long as if you sort of stand back 1 foot and it looks good, then and you're enjoying doing what you're doing, then go and do it. I can't do it. I know you can't do it.
I can't do it. I just cannot do that. It irks me. I've got to, when I'm building it, I've got to make it as well, to my eyes, as realistic as possible.
Yeah, but that's fine, and that's all great. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to build for a competition, and that's what you've got in mind, then yes, you've really got to zero in on all that and be 100% spot on. But you don't have to do that to enjoy the hobby, do you?
To be fair, your average model is competition worthy.
Yes,
right. But you go the extra mile when you build specifically for competition, right? Because if you just build something for, say, an expo display or just to throw, for teamwork's sake or some, I don't know, whatever your reason, non-competition reason, you obviously won't go the extra mile with your references, with your instructions, will you?
Depending on the subject.
Yeah.
Really? Depending on the subject.
I know some modelers, and I've been inclined to do this sometimes. Like, I don't care too much what goes on the underside of the plane. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not. It's not supposed to be.
I just hate it when you start working on something and you got all your references and the next thing you know, it just all starts contradicting each other and it's like, well, where do you go?
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, picking your battle.
Yeah, because as soon as you finish doing it, someone's going to come up with a reference that says, you did that colour wrong.
Yeah, well, the other thing is like you've got references of how this particular plane is supposed to look.
Yep.
But the decals that you have access to don't look like that.
Exactly.
What are you supposed to do then?
build Warhammer stuff, you don't have to worry about it.
Well, there's a point.
Or Star Wars.
Or sci-fi.
Yep.
But even there, though, you'll get people come along saying, "Oh, that's not the way the Millennium Falcon was painted and all the colour."
Well, I've got to try and come up with the right greys for Godzilla.
Yeah, for when you're doing your black and white one.
Well, for the colour one I'm doing now.
Yeah.
So I'm doing two. One's going to be in colour, one's I'm going to try black and white for the other one, like the original '64 movie when Godzilla came out, which I reckon looked pretty cool in black and white.
But back to Adam, I think it just, always aim to be the best you can with each model and try and sort of improve on each one you do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you're only at a certain level and you're happy being there, then just keep building at that level.
That's it.
Yeah, but I would say that's a mindset not compatible with competition modelling, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, though. If you're building for a competition, then yes, you do have to always continually strive to improve over the last kit you built. Like, you know what?
That said, there is, like, sometimes I meet people who they're sort of like, they build to a certain standard. That standard might be not good enough to win a modelling competition.
Yep.
And they think that should be the standard for winning a modelling competition. It's a bit weird.
And the other thing too is take what you think is your best kit and enter it anyway. Because I got a big surprise this weekend. I went to a model show and put two kits in.
You only got to beat the competition, don't you?
Yeah. I went to a model show and put two kits in. I put my Sheridan that I built. And that came first. And it's funny when I'm putting it out on the table and looking at the other ones, I'm thinking, oh, geez, that's great. And that one's good and excellent. Oh, well, this will be good. And I ended up walking away with first. And the ship that I entered as well, there was a couple of crackers in there. And I ended up getting first again in the shipped category. So you just don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a
what looks really, really good from a distance, when you come up closer, you
Yeah.
can start picking the faults.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that quite a bit.
And I find that too, some people too, when they go on competitions, they build a kit and they get right in it, then they start getting a bit complacent when it takes a bit longer than normal.
I'm guilty of that. I can become very complacent towards you when I'm building my kit sometimes.
Thus, you put it away and do something else and then get back to it later.
Yeah.
Like my buffalo. It's starting to drive me bananas.
Well, yeah, some people get very into their weathering and stuff, and you'll find like the ones that look really flashy from a distance, and because it's got lots of cool weathering effects and stuff, and then you get up close and you're like,
and the weathering's hiding the stakes.
They rushed it. They rushed it to the weathering so that they could get stuck into the part that they like.
Yes.
D writes in and says, hey, did you guys see this? The two sunken World War II Japanese carriers have been discovered
by the RV Petrol.
Yeah,
the
Kaga.
The Kaga and the Akagi.
And the Akagi.
Yes.
Yeah, Kagu.
No,
Akagi.
And the Kaga.
Which were both lost during the Midway battle.
Unfortunately, when they found the Akagi first, this week or last week they found the Kaga, but the actual rover they're using broke down. So they've had to call it quits for this year. Because apparently they can't fix the rover on board. They've got to get it sent away, so they won't be back till that site till, I think, early to mid next year.
You wouldn't have thought they would have had too much trouble finding it, because the well-documented naval battle...
Except for the Japanese.
Well, they didn't document too well on their
side.
And
also, you got to think about when those things were going down, those things were raging infernos.
Yeah.
The last thing on anyone's mind is going to be plotting where exactly they are as they're leaving the ship. I think the main thing is, let's get off this burning boat.
Burning ship.
Yeah,
just correcting you there.
Wow.
A boat can be in a ship, but a ship can't be on a boat.
Ship modeler to the very end.
Yeah.
All right, next up, Luke writes in. Luke Rutter writes in, hi guys, just finished listening to your most recent podcast and it was brilliant. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
I was just wondering if you had any recommendations for airbrushes. I recently had a very bad experience with the Humbrol airbrush, and I was wondering if you knew any good ones which cost anything beneath either £100 or about $186 Australian. Yes, we do.
Yeah, you pick up a good Awata for that price, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you probably could.
A good Badger. Badger's not too far off that.
Badger. Yeah, but Badger's not on the same length, I reckon, or same standards like Pash, Awata, and brands like that that have been around for a long time.
I I would have been of that opinion a while ago, but apparently the SOTA 2020 is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a case where their lower end airbrushes may not be on par with the lower end airbrushes of other manufacturers, but their higher end is on par.
Yep.
So I don't really know.
My first decent airbrush I bought was an Iwata HP model.
Yeah.
And I had that for 15 years before I finally put it to bed. And that thing lasted. That was a great little airbrush.
Well,
and that cost me under 200 Aussie.
Well, I'm currently using for the standard sort of basic airbrush that I use for priming and most other like basic work. I use the Iwata Eclipse, the HP-CS.
Yep.
That's a good airbrush, you know.
How much is that though?
I don't know. I was given that. A friend of mine like bought it a while back.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the expensive one, man.
Yeah.
No, the expensive one I bought.
Oh.
That one's out of commission at the moment because it's still got broken bits in it.
Oh, okay.
You broke it.
Yeah, I was doing. I missed. I thought the internals were the other airbrush, and I started pulling on things that shouldn't be pulled on, and yeah.
But look, there's some cheap ones floating around. There's even some cheap ones you can pick up for about $45 Australian, which are double action, and they're Chinese knockoffs. And
you can get those Chinese knockoffs for like $20.
And they do it right. So you go on like AliExpress and what's some of the other big sort of
Amazon and places like that.
Yeah, Amazon will pop up from time to time.
Yeah.
Runway 13 do some half decent airbrushes.
I got two Runway 13 airbrushes, and I reckon they're great. Yeah. And the good thing about Runway 13 here in Australia is their customer support's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well,
I've had a few times where I've had like issues with an airbrush, and I knew these guys were going to be at Model Expo, so I bought my airbrush with me to Model Expo and going, "Can you have a look at that?" And he goes, "Yeah, see me again tomorrow. See me again tomorrow. It's all fixed, working, tested. What are you? No charge."
Yeah, wow.
That's an important aspect. I mean, like, having the home ground advantage, I greatly believe in, right? Being able to just, have parts locally, even if it's interstate.
Yeah.
Right? So, if I was in this position of this guy and I was looking for a new airbrush, like not like an amazing one, just a good, solid, standard airbrush for model work, I would say go with whichever is local to you. So if you're in Australia, buy a Runway 13 airbrush. If you're in North America, a Badger.
Yep.
If you're in Europe, H&S have some pretty cheap ones in their lineup, I think.
Right.
Because it's cheaper for them than it is for us to get imported, right?
Oh, definitely.
And same, if you're in Asia, there's Iwata. You can buy the cheaper Iwatas.
Yep.
There you go, Luke. Some good advice there. Hopefully, and just write back to us and let us know what you end up choosing.
And if you're sharing a house with friends, don't let them use the needle of your airbrush to open locks. Like I had a friend do to me once.
Well, don't let your girlfriend use it to put a spray tan on.
Spray tan.
Spray tan.
I had someone.
Like glue.
I had a relative telling me, "Oh, you should be making money off of this." I'm like, no one's gonna. No, I mean, like, people do like commission jobs, but generally speaking, there's not that much money to be made in modeling.
No, not at all.
It's just like, oh, you should use your airbrush to like airbrush on makeup. People pay for that sort of thing. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to do that.
Exactly.
Okay. Next, this is the last one. It's from Andrew Mills. G'day, Andrew. And Andrew writes in, "Hi, benchers. Love the podcast. Keep up the good work, guys. How about an episode on your preference for glue? As a returner to the hobby after 35 years absence, things have really changed. All I've ever used was toothpaste-style tube of glue, and now there's thin, super thin, CA, Revell, contactor, etc., etc., etc. Application seems to vary in some videos I've watched from glue and then press parts together, or press together then use a super fine on the seams. What glues and techniques do the OTB team use? Cheers, Andrew."
To me, extra thin.
Yep.
And for super glue, Loctite 406.
Yep.
For white glue, I use... Is it
Gator?
Gator Grip?
No, not Gator Grip. That's a glue.
Yeah.
Gator Grip.
Gator Grip, yeah. The little white pot.
Yeah.
They're my three go-tos.
I'm very similar to you, Ian. Very similar. I used to have Revell contactor. I chucked that away.
Yeah, I look.
I
think I've still got. I still got an old Nitto kit at home somewhere that's got the original silver foil glue tube in there.
I tell you, if you've got any of that old glue sitting around, just throw it out so you're not tempted to use it.
Exactly,
That's the first thing you got to do.
Remember the old Humbrol glue, the stringy glue?
But
as soon as you take the top off, it just strung out everywhere. It's like, oh no, you just all I'm doing is making spider webs.
But by far, the Tamiya extra thin is the way. It's funny, you know. I was sitting watching Tested. Adam Savage has got a show, and he was doing this tested video where he's just knocking together a spaceship.
I've seen that one. Yeah, scratch building a spaceship off a drawing.
Yeah, and he's got this glue in this great big tin.
And what it is, it's MEK.
MEK. And
methyl ethyl ketone.
And he's just out and he just sort of whacks it on. And
MEK is brilliant, but it'll destroy your body.
But then he was just butting the plastic up against the other bit.
Yep, and just hitting it with a bit of paintbrush. Yep.
And then, unlike us, he just scribe and snap off the plastic bit. I'm going, ew. Yeah. How can you, where's the
you got to
finesse?
think the guy's got that much experience from doing special effects modelling. Like I think he used to work at ILM.
He did.
At one time.
He did some of the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah. So he's and those guys, they're not like us. They've got a certain time they've got to get this thing built.
Yeah.
So they've got to be quick.
Yeah.
Thus, they learn to do these little...
And they know the distances that things will be filmed at and things like that. They can hide things.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, did he mention the greebles in that one?
Yeah, he did. He mentioned the greebles.
The best greebles came from the German Hasigau 172 scale German railgun Leopold.
Yep.
And that's where these little round bits come, and they call them greebles. And apparently, in every science fiction movie, if they build a model, they've got one of these greebles on it somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, that's classic.
Well, back to the glue thing.
Sure.
So, a lot of people will use Tamiya extra thin where they press the two parts together, and then they add the extra thin.
Yep.
And it'll flow in between
Correct.
those two parts, and it'll make them stick together.
Yep. Capillary effect.
But I also use it in the old-fashioned sense where you apply it to one piece, and then you push the pieces together.
You got to be careful that way, because if you push too hard, it actually melts the plastic on the seam joint and bubbles up. So you're actually making your aircraft, if you're doing an aircraft, you're making it more narrow.
Oh, geez, the narrow width, though, you're talking about would be a bee's dick.
But then once you put your wings on, where the wings meet the fuselage, you'll notice a gap.
That's interesting. I'm not sure if it really... I mean, you'd have to really slather the stuff on for it to melt to that degree.
And the other thing also is you've got to be really careful using Tamiya extra thin that you don't get it on your fingers.
Oh, yeah.
Because you touch that plastic with that stuff on your fingers, you're going to end up with these nice engraved fingerprints all over your kit.
And they're much harder to sand out than you
don't sand them out, you just putty them up and sand them.
Mm.
Well, the two ways...
I would say if you get it on your fingers, just wash your hands. Get up.
Yeah.
Don't try and persevere with it. Just get up, wash your hands.
Another thing is get something that can hold the bottle that it won't tip over on your bench.
Yeah.
Because I know of one person, I think, that had happened to them and totally ruined their kit.
I reckon it's probably happened to a few people.
Yeah.
I find the best method was two ways I use Tamiya thin. There's the two ways that there's a way that we just, Julian just described, where you whack it on and you press the two parts together. And I don't mind if a bit oozes out. I don't mind that at all.
No, I try and avoid that at all costs.
I go for specifically that when I'm doing fuselages.
Yeah, I do too, because you can hide the seam, because all you do is then you can then sand back or even use one of your chisels and just take off that seam, and it hides the seam completely.
Yeah.
The other good thing with Tamiya extra thin too is when you're right near the bottom of the bottle where your paintbrush won't reach, you're building your kit, just knock off a few little bits of sprue off the kit you're building, drop it in the Tamiya extra thin, mix it up, and you got a great sprue goo with the same plastic that you're using on your kit.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I do the thing with when I'm doing fuselages. It's almost like I'm making a little bit of sprue goo in the process.
Yep.
But the other thing, if I'm doing like a ship hull, for example, and there's no way you can start at the beginning with Tamiya extra thin and go all the way around
in one go.
So
it'll just evaporate.
I've got to do it in parts. So I'll do generally the bow. I'll start the bow first, so I can get that all pinched off, and then just through the capillary action, I'll just slowly move down the rest of the hole and just hold and squeeze it until that bit's dry, and then move on to the next section.
Because you've got flex to work with in that sense, don't you?
Yeah, over length I do, yeah.
It's not like most plain kits where you can be happy to just glue the whole thing all the way around and stick them together, and you don't have to worry about... unless it's warped from the factory, and then you might get some misalignment. But generally, it's going to be okay.
I'll use super glue on photo etch parts, but I'll also use super glue if the gluing part is going to be hidden and I need a really super strong bond. And I might put a bit of super glue in there.
No.
You don't?
No. Araldite. 5-minute Araldite.
Really?
Yep. If you want something that's never going to break, because super glue becomes brittle after time. And bits can end up falling off. You use Araldite, it's there forever. Well, many times I've used Araldite. You just got to make sure everything's in the right position. It's all taped together. And then you Araldite it, set it aside for 10 minutes, and it's there forever. Don't have to worry about it. And it's strong.
And I'll tell you why I don't use a Revel anymore, is because when I was building that American carrier, the USS Gambia, it melted the darn plastic on the Hasegawa kit.
Funny.
It's
sorry. I don't mean to rub it in,
no,
but it was funny.
It was quite funny at the time. Jeez, I was swearing and cursing and spitting chips at the time, but geez.
So and
I've never had a reaction like that with that particular glue, so I thought, well, once bitten, twice shy in the bin.
I have a specific use for Revel Contactor. One specific use, and that's for individual link tracks, because it has a slower drying time. So I have a ruler, and I set it down, and I tape it all down to the table and everything like that, and I line up all my track links up against it so it's nice and straight. Then I hit it with the Revel Contactor, right? Leave it for like 10 minutes. I'll probably set a timer, 10 minutes. Then I'll come back and they'll be still movable, but they'll still be stuck together.
But how do you get because the trouble with the contactor is that it comes out in a droplet form. So how do you get the precision in applying the glue like you can with Tamiya extra thin with a little brush on the end of it?
Well, it doesn't work its way in as easily, but it works enough.
It's fluid enough to go in there.
So no.
Yeah, and it's like because you could do it with Tamiya extra thin. You just wait for a bit less time, right?
Yeah.
But if you run into any trouble, because usually what I'll do is I'll do them all up in this one long strip, and then I'll put them on the tank and wrap them around, and
then realise you're either missing a link or you're a couple of links over.
Yeah, well that's that's the thing, right? I always add an extra couple of links.
Yeah, you can always better to take links off than try and add them in later.
That's right.
Yeah,
and then I'll use extra thin because that dries faster to mate the two ends together.
Yes. That makes sense.
And it gives me enough time to because sometimes you can, to get the track sag, you want to get some, I often use Q-tips or cotton buds or whatever they call them, and I have them cut in half so I can just put them in there and it shims out and provides that between, provides a sag by pushing them between the track links and the sponsons.
Yep.
It's a good idea.
Very good idea. Well, if you guys out there have any great ideas or tips in regards to not only glue but anything else we've touched on, or indeed you just want to get in contact with us, you can do so by sending an email to onthebench64@gmail.com or go to our Facebook page. And a quick request, guys, when you're sending in your emails, can you just say where you come from? That'll be really good as well.
Yeah.
So, Adam, I'm not quite sure where you're from. And Luke, I'm not 100% where you're from. So just drop down the country or the state, and that'll be pretty cool to read out as well.
Yeah.
Now, the only other thing that I've got to raise and have a quick try to chat about is I got really frustrated with ending up buying paints that I've already got.
Oh, yeah.
So I found an app for my phone, and the app is called Paint Pot.
Paint Pot.
Now, the idea of this is that you just hold the barcode up and it automatically detects a barcode and puts it into your app. So you get a list of what you've got. And you've got paints. It lists the paints from Ammo, Badger, Citadel, the old Citadel, Citadel Air, Forge World, Humbrol, Privateer Press, which I've never heard of, Reaper, never heard of.
Reaper used to do a lot of white metal miniatures for Dungeons and Dragons.
Revell, Scale 75, Secret Weapon, Testers, Vallejo Game Air, Vallejo Game Colour, Vallejo Metal Colour, Vallejo Model Air, Vallejo Model, Vallejo Panzer Aces, and War Colours. And this app cost me about, I think about $3.
So no guns.
No guns.
No use to me then.
No SMS.
So I've got an app like that as well.
Well, look, but let me finish.
Okay.
So I got it. I tested it. It was going ding every time it did the thing, and it didn't work. It just doesn't work. It's a waste of time.
What's it called?
It's called
Paint
Pot.
Okay.
And it just I cannot get it to work. And I'm gutted because I thought this would be really helpful. So I could.
You're gutted because you spent $3, you cheap bastard.
No, it's not quite.
He thought he found a winner. Yes. He thought he found a pot of gold.
Yeah, pot of gold.
Because I know Scalemates has got their thingy-bob with, you can put in your kits and even your paints, but I find that a bit
Excel spreadsheet, Dave.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not walking around with an Excel spreadsheet on my phone. And the idea
well,
of
that's
this,
why you're going to a hobby shop, so you check your spreadsheet. You go, oh, I need that colour, write it down, and then go to the shop and go, oh, I need that colour, that colour.
But what appealed to me was...
So when we went to freaking Gundam Plus, I bought two pots of guns. Got home, beauty, I bought a black and a white because I use those colours a lot. Got home and I've already got 3 of each. Well, now I've got 4 of each.
Well, technically black and white aren't colours, they're a shade.
Oh, shades then.
But what appealed to me was the fact I just had to show the barcode to the camera and it would automatically scan it in. So I didn't have to type or laboriously do any of that sort of stuff. And it doesn't work. Such a great concept. Now imagine that and you apply it to model kits as well, where you just scan the barcode in and automatically recognises it and uploads it to
your database.
So I've got an app that does a similar thing.
Yes.
Right.
What's it called?
It's called Paint Rack.
Paint Rack. Okay. I'm going into the shop to have a look now.
Yeah. So apparently, I think it's free. It's got little ads at the bottom, right? But I can definitely tell you, it has every paint catalog you can possibly think of. There's some in here that I don't even recognize, like like Cote d'Armes. I've never heard of that before.
Sounds French to me.
Andrea Colour. That sounds French to me as well.
Andrea, they do all the Andrea miniatures, so that'd be their paint
custom
range.
Yeah, okay. Let's see, what else we got here? GarageKits.us. Mission Models, Forge World, Freak Flex. How
do you spell Paint Rack?
Well, it's one word, Paint Rack.
R-A-C-K?
Yeah. Yeah. It also has the scanning ability. I haven't tested it. But it covers all of it. It covers Mr. Paint. It covers pretty much everything out there. It also even covers Citadel, the old paints.
Oh, the old Citadel paints.
The original Citadel paints, as well as the new ones.
Yep.
Has a distinction between the two.
Ah.
So this seems like the one to end.
Because I got to admit, those old Citadel paints are the best colour names.
I can't find it. So I'm in the App Store and it's not there.
Wait, don't you have an Apple phone?
I do have an Apple phone.
Yeah, I don't have an Apple phone.
That's where your problem is. You got an Apple.
A lot of people use Apple, so
Or if I go into the App Store, it just comes up with Paint Pot, which is the one that doesn't bloody work.
The thing is, like, with Apple, is they have to give the okay on all the apps that are on their shop. I know this because a friend of mine used to develop mobile apps.
Yep.
Right, and he said it's really funny. He said if you've programmed your own app and you submit it to the Apple Store, they ask you to do it via fax.
Via fax?
Classic.
Isn't that funny?
Well, if you've got a mate who does apps, get him to do a Model 1 that also encompasses paint. All you have to do is scan the barcode and he'd make a mint. Sell it for $1 per app.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough modelers for anyone to care.
I think there's a lot.
Well, in any case,
Here you go.
he's probably got other things to do.
I think Dave's just choking on himself there.
He lives.
Oh,
He lives in the US now, and he spends all his money on guns and Crocs. You know, the shoes. So I don't.
The shoes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see any problem with that.
The shoes or the guns?
The guns.
The guns like is passable, but the shoes is just weird.
Yeah, that's weird. Wow. That'd be interesting though.
All I can do is whenever I just imagined him like at the range wearing Crocs. Which is a ridiculous image, isn't it?
Yeah, gee,
Yeah, especially when a hot shoal gets stuck in there.
Oh yeah, that'd make you hop around, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
Ah.
Definitely.
So there's my little 2 cents worth. It's my bit of a whinge and a rant.
Mm. Yeah, so I mean, try out the app. I don't believe it
Well, I
costs
can't
anything.
get the app,
No,
Julian.
I'm talking to our listeners, all
Oh,
right?
okay.
It's not specifically you. I mean, maybe you can go like buy a different phone or something.
I can't. This is issued through work. I've got to use it.
Oh well.
Poor bugger.
Oh.
In other news, so a friend of
Yes.
mine, he said, I'm thinking of buying this D&D Dungeons and Dragons rule book because there's board games are really popular these days, especially Dungeons and Dragons.
Jeez, what would that be like? Volume 7 or something?
No. This is like a custom rule book or something like that. It's like a scenario.
Oh right.
Yeah. And the whole thing about it is like when you buy it, the primary product is the book, right? And along with it, because it's currently going on Kickstarter, which obviously some of the Kickstarters they never go anywhere, but this guy has a proven track record because all he does is make really really good D&D scenario games and stuff like that. And
It's not the same guy who did that Cthulhu one.
Oh, I'm not too
Because that was impressive.
sure.
Because I remember the guy made the big resin Cthulhu, which looked freaking insane.
Let me just see what his name
Julian's
is.
having a look.
While he's having a look, I'm just going to reminisce about the old...
Sorry, it's Matt Colville.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's got quite a proven track record. He's put through over 40 Kickstarters, and they've all gone
really?
successful.
Wow.
So he's
He
solid.
knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. This particular one is called Kingdoms and Warfare.
Mm-hmm.
Kingdoms and Warfare, and it comes with miniatures. So he's gone, I'm thinking of buying this. Would you paint these for me? I'm like, yeah, I'll paint them for you.
How much?
Oh.
How much am I charge him?
Yeah.
I'll do it for free. He's a good friend of mine. But the actual miniatures. So there's a 190 mil tall dragon.
Yep.
That costs $130 if you buy like the special edition or whatever it is.
Holy
Wow.
cow.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And as these Kickstarters go through and they get more and more backing,
yeah.
right, they unlock more and more sort of stuff that you can purchase. And they've unlocked almost all of them. Because this thing's been kickstarted to $1 million Australian.
Wow, that's huge money.
Yeah, like I said, these board games, people take it seriously.
Oh, man. I'm reminiscing now about the old days of board gaming back in the 70s, about when I used to have Luftwaffe, Panzer Leader, Squad Leader, all those good games. And it was hours and hours and hours of fun.
Oh, it's well beyond that now. There's a show called Critical Role, which is a properly done, like properly scripted and everything version of it. And it's voice, like the people who play the game are actual voice actors and they voice act out everything.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's really, really popular. It makes plenty of money.
Well, you want to see, well, wargaming is still a hugely popular sort of pastime. I mean, just have a look at how many podcasts are out there on wargaming. There's at least a dozen that I can think off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, granted, a lot of that is sort of, Warhammer 40k and all that sort of stuff. But, geez, it's really, really popular still.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for example, once upon a time, E3, the Electronic Entertainment Expo, used to be used to have a lot of like people from the public, but now it's more of a corporate thing. So in its place to support the public came the Penny Arcade Expo, or PAX for short.
Right.
And so there's PAX East, PAX West in the United States, which is Seattle and I think maybe somewhere on the other side. I'm not sure where the other one is. There's one in Australia, PAX Australia, and that's held here in Melbourne. I've been to PAX Oz, and half the entire floor is nothing but board games.
Oh, dude, we got to go to the next one. We got to go. I want to go and have a look.
Because they have like literally like a whole bunch of board games, and you just walk up there and you go, I want to play this game. And they're like, here you go. And you just sit down at one of the tables.
You got to let me know when the next one's on. We'll go.
I think it just passed.
Oh, Murphy's Law.
Late August, I think it was, or September. Yeah, it just passed. So good luck with that.
Put a note in your diary to let me know the next one's coming up.
I don't have a diary.
You got an electronic phone and device there. Just plug it in your diary.
Well, in any case, board games are no joke these days. Yeah, there's a lot of great board games out there. You know, a lot of them will have miniatures and figures. A lot of the studios, like what's it, Angel Giraldez?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does he's just a studio, and all he does is do nothing but paint miniatures. And a lot of the work he gets is from Kickstarter produced board games, and he'll make the miniatures.
That's right. He was the one who did the big
Cthulhu thing. Yeah.
And there's a lot of crossover between wargaming and modelling too.
Of course there is.
That's interesting.
Well, you've got it yourself. You got that Orc Bomber thing. That's for wargaming.
Absolutely. We haven't really looked at that in too much depth. We should find somebody who does wargaming that we know of and also does modelling.
Sure.
Well, I used to do a lot of wargaming.
Yeah, well,
40k stuff years ago, but not anymore.
Yeah, but not just that, but miniatures also and the polyonics and all that. Yeah. All right, well, we'll think about that and we'll see if we can find someone.
Yeah. So I mean, he's thinking. So the thing about a lot of these miniatures that are done for these board games and stuff, they're not in plastic. They are in
pewter.
Lead
pewter.
It's metal. Often that vinyl-y stuff.
Oh,
really? Well, that'd be horrible stuff to paint.
Yeah, but I think it's getting to the point now where I think they're going to like 3D printing, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too sure.
It'll be a slow process.
I don't know, but I want to know.
Yeah.
Well, I saw today spoken about resin casting. There's a company out there that's now bringing out the UV.
Yeah, UV reactive resin.
Yeah.
So you just put it in your little mold and then put a UV light in it and bang.
Bang, it's done. Yeah. So quick.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I was really impressed when
That's what they use with the anycubic photon.
Yeah.
So it's I guess you can use it for just resin casting as well as resin printing, right?
Yep.
That's kind of cool.
Very cool. All right, guys, I think we're pushing up hard against our finishing time. You got anything else you want to tell lies about?
Tell lies? No lies coming out of my mouth that I know of.
No.
I mean,
I'm going to be spending the weekend working on Godzilla.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to be working on my Polish modern tank.
I'm loving this Godzilla kit.
I'm loving this Polish tank. I'm loving all my tanks at the moment.
Just the size of it's just going to be such a challenge to paint.
Yeah, it will be. I'm really keen to see how that comes out. Actually,
I had a mistake the other day.
Oops.
So I was working on my little French tank, and I put the decal on one side of it, and then I put my decal softener over it, and I left it alone unattended for too long.
Ooh.
And what happened was, it sort of slightly evaporated, but then sat in like a bubble on top of my decal, burning into it.
Yep.
And
melted it to the paint.
Yeah, I had I scraped it away, and I lost the paint in the process.
Yeah.
The softener actually impacted the paint, and that was under a lacquer clear coat.
What decal softener do you use?
The Guns, Mr. Mark Softer.
Yeah, I use that as well.
Yeah.
And Mr. Mark Setter.
Yeah, you can't leave it on there too long, otherwise it starts to bite in. You know.
Yeah, melts it. Basically melts the decal.
You got to put it on.
This melted the paint,
and then you got to give it a bit of a rinse with water. Well, not a rinse with the water. You just sort of clean it off with a water type.
Yeah. Well, that's my problem. I forgot it was there, and I left it unattended.
Oh man.
So yeah, I had to sort of sand it down to the primer.
And then repaint.
Oh.
There you go. Lesson learnt, Julian.
Lesson learnt.
Yeah.
Lesson learned.
Because it'll lead up a few days. Because I generally leave these things between like 24 hours to dry and things like that. Not that I need to, I just do.
Jeez, I'm trying to think the last time I left something to dry for only 24 hours.
Well, now
usually for me now, it's usually leave it a week.
Well, now it's usually me leave it for about 10 minutes with these lacquers I'm using spraying. It is great. They're that quick.
Yeah. So
awesome.
I've also bought like a few things because I like the Guns lacquer clear, the Super Clear 3.
Yeah.
I had like a few extra dollars to make up the $150 for my B&A order. So I was like, yeah, I'll go one of those. So I've bought a few like other like sort of matte coats and other sort of, and I think there's like, it's the GX2, I think it is, the gloss black, the premium gloss black lacquer that Guns make.
Yep.
In the tall jar.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give that a shot for my next.
I just like how Guns now got those big pots.
Yeah, yeah.
With the Aquarius Lane.
They heard you in.
Yeah, they're big pots. They're great.
So have you seen the new thinner?
Oh, the
Rapid thinner, I think it's called.
Yeah, you sent me a link to it. Yeah, that was really interesting.
What does it do?
So you know how they've got the leveling thinner, which increases drying time.
Mr. Colour, are we talking about?
Yeah, this is Guns, yeah.
Guns.
To increase the colour, the drying time.
Yeah, thus your paint has more time to settle and go flat.
Yep.
Not more flatter, smoother
nice
finish.
Smooth, yeah.
Now they've got a new one out, rapid thinners.
So it does the opposite.
Quick drying. And for doing matte coats, wow.
But hang on, but Guns dries really quick anyway.
Yeah. But this dries even quicker and gives a really good, solid matte coat.
Wow.
So Guns actually have a Facebook page now for English-speaking peoples.
Yes.
And you can go over there and they'll showcase the various products that they're putting out. And that's
they got
one of them.
a lot of products out. They've even got their own airbrushes.
They've got their own compressors.
Yeah, which are all probably rebadged from someone else. But
No doubt.
Yeah, but there's a good chance that every box from Japanese manufacturers.
Yep.
They're not Yamcha brand Chinese airbrush compressors.
Yep. So, yeah, plenty of good stuff.
All right, I think we'll call it quits there.
Call it quits.
Ian, time for your sign-off.
Oh, photo which is fun.
Julian.
Buy new kits, don't buy old kits.
Who buys... Oh, you looking at me about the Italeri one I bought.
Oh, not just that. I mean, like, not just because newer kits are going to go together easier, but you're also supporting the model industry that we all...
But what about the black market in second-hand kits? You got to support that.
Yeah, but the second-hand kits is always there for specific things, like when Dragon decide to hike their prices to ridiculous amounts, right?
Tell me about it. They're armor kits.
Yeah.
You get less in them now, and they're twice as expensive.
Yep, that's what you're
That's why I'm glad.
Markets for.
That's why I'm glad I went years ago. I went to a deceased estate sale and filled the boot of my car up with armor kits, and I bought about 30 Dragon armor kits for I think they were about $10 each.
Wow.
Yeah, and also your swap and sells also, and second-hand market's also good for things that are out of production.
Yep,
very true. All right, guys, and on that note, thank you very much for being with us, and we'll be back in a fortnight. Until then, adios.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the show, and thanks for being with us this fortnight. Don't forget, if you're still looking for some more modelling podcasts, pop over and have a listen to our good friends at the Scale Model Podcast, run by Stuart and Anthony. They've got a great little show over there. As always, we'll be back in a fortnight, and thanks for listening.